Hello and welcome back to the FPL Tom YouTube channel. Ahead of Game Week 10, we are live on the Friday evening, of course, for a deadline preview. We're going to go through all the key stats and data you need this game week to be making the best decisions and, of course, answering as many of your guys' questions. So make sure you are getting your questions into the comments section. Any that you do have ahead of this game week, please try and get them in and I will try to answer as many as I possibly can throughout today's stream. Obviously, if you are new around here as well, make sure you are hitting that subscribe button. The goal now is, of course, to hit 15,000 subscribers by the end of the season. If we could do that, it would mean the absolute world to me. And also, if you are an existing subscriber, make sure you're getting yourself involved with the poll, best captaincy poll for this game week, and of course, hitting that like button as well. Who we got in the chat? We've got Talal, he says, yo. We got Free Baby as well. He says, welcome back, mate. Danish says, evening all as well. Some pretty good characters in here, you know. Pretty good characters already. I hope everyone's doing well. Like I said, get your questions in. Talal has said, personally, I think Salah is the best captain. I don't think you can captain Haaland yet. Bournemouth look defensively good and scary. Yeah, I think Bournemouth as well have been a pretty decent side so far this season. They're not right down there for XG conceded as well. Haaland's record isn't actually pretty good against them. I think it's he's played them 4 times, 1 goal. It's not great. It's not great across there. Gone with Visser and Mbuemo, good move or not? Yep, I'm pretty happy with that. I've got both of those guys. I think for the next 5, they're very, very easy holds. So, yep, no problems with that one. I have McNeil and Rodgers. Who should I start? I think with McNeil being a doubt, I would probably gamble on I'd play Rodgers for me personally. I think Spurs with Van der Ven out could be a little bit shaky at the back. Harry's in the chat as well. He says, let's go, bro. Hope you're doing well, man. I hope you're doing well. Obviously, let's first off take a look at how my team is lining up for this week. Very similar to what I said in the team prediction, the team selection video as well earlier in the week. I basically said, I don't really see myself making a transfer this week. There isn't any moves that I can do within budget. The only one that maybe could happen would be Calvert-Lewin to Cunha, but I would have to take a -4 for that one, so I'm not going to do it. We're going to roll this week, and of course, we're just going to, roll with the team we've got. We've given Salah the armband. Obviously, we'll come on to talk a little bit more about why I've obviously done that and why I've gone for Mohamed Salah as my captain for this game week, but there are plenty of good reasons to be doing that. But the rest of the team looks really, really good. And like I said, I do feel like a lot more people are going to be looking towards to head to this kind of free premium structure going forward as the weeks do progress. Is Gvardiol going to play? Apparently he's fine. He's just a concern. We'll come on to Gvardiol as well in a second. We do have obviously a little bit of an update around him. Who should I bring instead of Watkins, Visser or Cunha? And is Cunha a risk? I heard he got injured in training. Nope, Cunha's fine. He's been spotted back in training. Nothing was brought up in Gary O'Neill's presser either, so all good on the Cunha moves. Knock yourself out. And I do think over the next few, he is the better player out of Visser to be picking up if I had to pick. I feel like Visser's had his really good game. The rest are still really decent fixtures coming up for Visser, don't get me wrong, and his data is excellent. But he had his big breakout game, so yeah, I think there's better ones as well. 4 flags this week: McNeil, Gabriel, Wood, and I have sold Eze to Garnacho. I like the Eze to Garnacho one. I think looking at some of the what's it called? I can't even think what I was saying. The reports that Gabriel's going to be fine. Again, I've not really seen anything on Chris Wood. I tried to have a look. I couldn't see anything. Nothing was mentioned in the press conference yesterday. Is Vardy a good 1-week punt? Yeah. I mean, if Leicester win that game, you feel like they're on 12 points. It's a great start to the season for them and puts them in a real good position to actually stay up this season. Probably puts the nail in the coffin for Ipswich already this early on. But yeah, it is a good 1-week punt. What do you think about the triple captain results? Yeah, I mean, I'm happy. I'm happy in some ways because I've followed the process. Like, on any other day, Haaland puts in a couple goals there. You know what I mean? 2.33 expected goal involvement is ridiculous. Genuinely ridiculous. Any other day, we're talking maybe a Haaland hat-trick. We could see that the projected goal numbers were so great for so long, from 11-5, from the betting markets. Unfortunately, that's just sometimes the way football rolls. I'm not too heartbroken about it. At least he didn't blank. He's got something out of him. We got an extra 6 points. It's not the be-all and end-all. And I do feel like utilising the other chips is going to be more effective within the double game weeks. But that's my opinion on it. Maybe other people will feel a little bit bum-hurt, but that's not for me. Right, let's head on into some team news then, because I know we're going to have people asking me. So these were kind of the highlight ones that I could find on Twitter this afternoon. So Mikel Arteta has confirmed that Gabriel will be in the squad to face Newcastle. So if I had him, I would pretty much have Gabriel in there as well. Pep Guardiola on the injury situation. Tomorrow you will know, you will see it. The list, I have many doubts. Most of them half tomorrow. You will know it. Again, very, very cryptic from Pep. So if you do have Guardiola, I think I would stick with him. Just because the amount of injuries like City have got, I think if there is any chance he is fit and available, he will play in that fixture. So I would have him for that one. And then finally, Eze, it looks like he's going to miss the next 2 games. So if you have kept Eze for all this time period, you've got to sell him because his best fixtures that you're probably waiting for have actually now gone. So yeah, it's worth selling off Eze this week. Is no Haaland worth dropping to fund resources across the team? We'll talk a little bit more about it. Actually, you know what? Let's talk about it now. Let's go for it. I do have a slide for it somewhere. Not that one. This one. Here we go. So these are the fixtures from, obviously, game week 10 onwards, right? And where or not you could drop Haaland. Now, I think for me, the exit point and the appropriate exit point is pretty much game week 12, right? Because the other player, realistically, you're going to spread the money to is a Palmer, a Salah, and, of course, Saka. They're going to be probably the 3 that you'll have in midfield if you are, of course, dropping Erling Haaland this week. So Salah does have decent fixtures for these ones here, but like I said, I think the main hop-off point for Erling Haaland is going to be around game week 12. You obviously going to want to pick up one of Cole Palmer, a Salah, or a Forest fixture at home. It's still pretty decent, but yeah, that's probably where you'd be picking it up. Then after this run here, right, there are probably only 2 game weeks where I think realistically you are going to be considering Haaland as the definite captaincy option if you had a midfield 3 of Palmer, Liverpool, and Palmer, Salah, and Saka, of course. That is going to be this Crystal Palace game here. I mean, Fulham away is not the easiest. Everton away, not the easiest. But I still would probably feel pretty comfortable captaining Salah in that one. And then looking again, Everton at home. But you've got Saka against Ipswich, Salah against Leicester, and of course Cole Palmer against Fulham. So again, there's no real need to have him here. And then again, same again here. Okay, no Haaland, but no worries, because guess what? Cole Palmer's got Ipswich. So throughout this period here, there are 2 game weeks where, yes, you would consider captaining Erling Haaland, right? Outside of that, you're not going to touch him in terms of the armband. There are players that are playing bottom half clubs, players with much better fixtures in those tighter game weeks as well, and Haaland and the City injuries as well. It's gonna be a bit difficult. I think they are going to struggle with some creativity over the next few weeks. I'm sticking with Haaland for the next 2, and like I said, around game week 12, that is probably going to be for me the period where I do assess whether or not I am going to keep Erling Haaland and what my plan is going forward a little bit further with that one as well. So, you know what? It is what it is. FPL Diamond says, Tom, I went through with the Embuemo TC in game week 9 as promised. Very, very well done, my friend. That is fair play to you, man. Fair play, honestly. Genuinely fair play. If you said you were starting at 1/4 Arteta levels, oh bro, sorry, I was basically just like done for the day. Like I had nothing to do. I'm a little bit hungry and I want to eat after this stream, so I thought, oh well, we're live, so I'll just start it a little bit earlier, see what happens. But thank you for turning up again, Jamie. Massively appreciate that from you, man, as always. Guys, if you are in the stream, make sure, of course, you are hitting that like button. It does push it out to more people, and that is exactly what we want to do as well. Love that one from you as well, Jamie. Love that, man. In terms of the poll as well for this week, make sure you are getting your votes in. A lot of people are going for Mohamed Salah. Interesting. Obviously, we're leaning more towards Mohamed Salah as well for captaincy this week. A lot of people as well are potentially considering selling off Haaland this week to go for Mohamed Salah as well. So that could be a real tasty one as well. Eesh. Wish. Oof. Could be a tasty one. Will Chris Wood play? Yeah, I've had a few questions about this. Let me quickly have a look on Twitter what was actually said about Chris Wood. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Chris Wood injury. Let me have a quick look. Will we see the magical coin tomorrow? The magical coin will be back tomorrow. Don't worry. He's here. The magical coin will be back for tomorrow's deadline stream. We'll be starting from 7:45. So, of course, make sure you're getting your alarm set for that one. Make sure you're ready as well. And yeah, the magical coin will be back as well. Yes, I'll be doing team reviews in tomorrow's stream as well. I'm just quickly trying to have a look at the injury. London Evening Standard, what is this saying? Chris Wood injury. Striker a doubt. Apparently struggling to be fit. So yeah, that's not looking great from reading that report. Obviously, I'll do a little bit more digging before tomorrow's deadline stream. I have a feeling that Haaland will get a hat-trick. Would be hilarious. It very easily could. It very genuinely easily could. That coin owes us big time. The coin got it wrong last week. The magical coin didn't predict Vista points, did it? It didn't also predict, you know, it nibbled us with Haaland as well. So maybe the coin's not the be-all and end-all, is it? In terms of those injury quotes, like I said, these are the ones that I've highlighted. I'll obviously do a little bit more of a deep dive heading in towards Chris Wood and whether or not he is going to be fit and available. But as we can see, if you've got Gabriel, probably worth holding on to him. Eze is out, so if you've got him, take him out of your side. I believe Morgan Gibbs-White is not available either. Someone potentially correct me if that's the case, but I remember seeing he's not available on Twitter. Pep Guardiola as well has given us absolutely nothing to work with. So unfortunately, if you do have Guardiola, it could be a little bit of a waiting game. Maybe we should get early team news. We do have some very, very reliable City team leakers as well. So I think, you know what, we potentially could be in a very decent position to get some early team news from that one. Let's move on. Let's, of course, take a look at the projected data for this week. Again, coming from Rob T FPL. Make sure you're heading over to his Twitter as well, dropping him a cheeky follow. Puts out some absolutely incredible stuff every single week that I don't even cover on these streams or videos as well, just so you guys can go and give him that love and support as well. What I noticed from this week is clean sheet percentages are not there. I would say we probably could have a week where maybe there's only 1 or 2 clean sheets, very similar to what we saw last week as well. So could be a little bit of a potential shaky one in terms of those clean sheets this week. So yeah, not looking too good, to be honest. Obviously, in terms of the projected goals though, does look like there could be quite a few goals this weekend. Liverpool obviously the top team for projected goals, so that bodes well. Obviously, if you've gone for Mohamed Salah as your captain as well, Haaland still not a bad option with decent projected goals there. Tottenham look very good to score this week. There looks like there could be plenty of goals as well in the Manchester United and Chelsea games as well. So, like I said, defenders is probably going to be a free at the back this week. Maybe if you've got Gvardiol and you're potentially worried, I don't think there's anybody that I'd be absolutely gagging to bring in terms of defensive numbers this week, because as we can see here, it's all very, very questionable. So I don't think there's anyone that I'd be absolutely dying to get in. Obviously, 8 Nuri, but there's a 25% chance of a clean sheet. We're banking more with him, of course, those attacking returns as well. So that's probably the way that one's going to swing. What have we got off in the chat as well? As an early Vista buyer, I'm not complaining too much about that one yet. Welcome to the Vista Club, my friend. Evening all. Thanks for the stream, Tom. No worries, my friend. Do you think McNeil will start? I've not seen him in some of the predicted lineups, so I'm going to say no. I have 0.9 million in the bank. Gabriel, McNeil and Gvardiol all yellow flagged with 1 free transfer. Any advice, please? I would leave Gabriel and Gvardiol. Gabriel looks like he should be fine, so I wouldn't worry too much about that potential one. Selling Haaland can easily bring in Salah, Palmer and Saka into my team, which is very, very tempting. I understand that as well. Obviously, as someone who went against Haaland at the start of the season, he will have games where he will score goals. But I think with the City injury crisis, not great fixtures as we went through a little bit earlier in the stream, probably 2 out of the next 10 game weeks you're going to captain him, I do feel like there is potential scope to go against him. As a Spurs fan, we're going to lose. Probably. Bournemouth will have the backup goalkeeper in Travers. Travers isn't even that bad a goalkeeper though, is he? He's not even that bad. Is Mateus a good option given Man City's injuries? He's not bad. For 4.9 million, I was looking at this the other day. I think he could be a real pickup this week. Genuinely. For the next few fixtures while City have still got these injury doubts. Maybe if you're on a wild card 12, could be a decent, cheap little punt. No, basically, to answer that other one, mate. Unfortunately not. Thoughts on Son transfer next game week? Yeah, I think you probably longer term will not want Son after that point, but for that week alone, he will be the best captaincy option. Yeah, this is so good. Anytime he's fit and available, he's an absolute monster, isn't he? For the next two only, Darwin plus Garnacho or Son plus Archer / Antonio. I don't really like the second options you've suggested with Son. I would say the only appeal of having Son is, of course, captaincy. He is still a little bit of a doubt for this week, so I think I probably would go with Darwin plus Garnacho on that one, mate. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense, the business blueprint. No worries, mate. Anytime. That's what we're here for. That's what these streams are here for, to help you guys out, give you guys some advice, obviously run through the data and help you make better decisions this game week as well. Should I do a -8 Rodgers to Salah and Haaland to Visser? Not for a -8. Not for me. Not for me. I don't think it will be essential just because of Champions League football, John Duran and his impact. So, yeah. I have Chris Wood and McNeil. Who should I get rid of? Probably, I think McNeil's probably trained a little bit more, and I feel there's so many good cheap forward options as well that I probably would maybe be tempted to sell off Chris Wood with him being a doubt. And the problem with João Pedro is they now have Welbeck, Ruta, who's been doing exceptionally well in the João Pedro role, so be wary of that one, and of course Evan Ferguson back as well. I probably, like I said, I maybe would be tempted with a Chris Wood replacement. I'll do a little bit more digging, but I think because we've got so many quality options, Cunha being one, Visser, Jimenez, all really, really good options. Is Delap still viable? Not for me personally. If Robbo's benched tomorrow, will he start Leverkusen or Brighton? I think Robbo's lost his place. After the weekend where he obviously messed up for the Saka goal, I think he's lost his place. Playing a full 90 midweek as well, I reckon he might be starting the Champions League game. So I reckon Tsimikas could be in for that one. Let's move on. Let's, of course, take a look at some data from 11 to 5 for the next 6 game weeks. Maybe if you're looking for some transfers. Or, of course, obviously maybe on a wild card this week. I know some people have activated it. I feel like the 11-5 tools are really, really good stuff to be using as well. In terms of those, as we can see here, it is kind of always pretty much the same-ish teams towards the top of this model. Mainly for clean sheets, because these are some of the best teams in terms of defences in the Premier League as well. So no real surprises there. They are a little bit higher than what the gambling market does have in terms of those clean sheets. So maybe the 11-5, so expecting a little bit more of a dull week than what the betting markets are potentially concerned. Manchester United, a really interesting team on here. Obviously going to have that new manager bounce as well. Interim with Ruud van Nistelrooy as well. So Dalot potentially could be a real smart pickup as well over the next few. In terms of the cheapies, you've obviously got Crystal Palace, Everton, Fulham, West Ham and Brentford, all looking pretty decent. There's also some great percentage chances in there for Wolves as well, and I do feel they will start to climb even more higher as well once they start to show off some decent defensive resiliency, maybe pick up a few clean sheets along the way as well. Forest, after the next two, probably a team we want to be starting to potentially dip away from a little bit, or looking to find players that rotate around the more difficult fixtures if you have selected Forest players as well for that one. Yeah, Brighton's fixtures after, I think it's 12, are ridiculous. Foden an outside captaincy chance. I mean, I think he's going to play, but I think when you've got Salah, Haaland and Palmer, no, not for me. Should I play Rodgers and Johnson against each other? Yeah, I would play them against each other. They're not defenders, so they're not going to impact each other if one of them scores, are they really? They're going to lose their clean sheet points, but that's about it. Sell Haaland to get Salah and Palmer. It's such a tricky one, man. Like, as someone who didn't have Haaland at the start of the game, I will tell you, it is not a fun experience. It really, really is not. Like, you will get battered. If Haaland goes off, you will get battered. But it is one of those moves that's high risk, high reward. If it goes your way, fair play. If it genuinely could, and I am looking at it myself, and we'll talk about it a little bit more. But I don't think maybe the next two I'm going to be sacrificing Haaland. Maybe game week 12 is going to be that period. Start Rodgers or Aina. I think it's a pretty decent fixture for Aina this week, isn't it? So I'll be tempted with Aina. I don't think DCL lost his place. Like, Beto came off the bench and scored. I think DCL will still be in the starting 11 for me. Who do I start out of, Aina or Nuri? Ain't Nuri for me, 100%. No Eze is going to mean that Palace have got absolutely zero creativity. Yep, fair enough. Gone early with the wildcard. Raya, Gabriel, Trent, Lewis, Palmer, Salah, Saka, and Mbeumo, Visser, Cunha, Raul, bench, Rodgers, Foden. Keane's probably not going to be playing for the next few weeks, so Keane probably would be a player I would be taking out. Branthwaite is back. When Branthwaite is playing games pretty regularly, Keane's not even going to see a minute, is he? So, yeah, I probably would drop him for a starting 4 million. I think you've got a Coley is one of them. A Coley's probably your man to go for with that one. Archer or Ndai? Oh, my days. Probably neither. Genuinely, I think there's so many better options than both of those. Watkins to Darwin, out 2 weeks, plan before the wild card. Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad idea. It isn't a bad idea, but what I'm going to just say to you is, of course, maybe this week's not the worst week for Villa against Spurs, because obviously Van der Ven's out, there is injuries and stuff like that, but Darwin could be a really fun 2-week punt. He could. Cunha or Visser, I probably would, if I were picking this week, I'd go Cunha. I think you've had your decent fixture from Visser. In terms of the projected goals, let's keep this show ticking along. In terms of the projected goals from 11-5, again, we are seeing the same teams up there. The big pull for Spurs, of course, is going to be that matchday 11 fixture as well against Ipswich. That is obviously pulling them really, really high up there. So Son, Solanke potentially could be worth keeping. Same with Brennan Johnson as well. Purely down to that game week 11 one. It could be one of those ones where the Spurs attackers do, of course, pop off. As we can see there, the next three are looking really, really juicy for Mohamed Salah as a potential option. So again, maybe worth some consideration there in terms of potentially looking to get him in, or finding routes to obviously go and get Mohamed Salah for game week 12 as well, as he does look like a fantastic captaincy option over that time period as well. A team that is completely dropping off the scales is, of course, Nottingham Forest, 19th for projected goals. The fixtures are going to get a lot more difficult with Chris Wood being a doubt as well. Now could be the perfect time to get off him, move to a Cunha, move to a Visser, move to a Jimenez, and do something else with the other strikers that have better projected goals coming up, have better fixtures coming up as well, and I feel are actually more involved. Like, Chris Wood has probably been a little bit fortunate when he's got the goals that he has, and now I feel it's maybe the time to move off if he is a doubt. How's it going, FPL Shane? Hope you're doing good, man. Hope you're doing good. Solanke a doubt? No. Solanke's not a doubt. He's just crap. I think he's maybe had not had a shot in the past 2 games. It's been ridiculous. We don't know anything else on Gvardiol, unfortunately, at the moment. Pep's give us absolutely nothing as well. I don't think the -8 is probably going to be worth it. Yeah, Bruno might be a decent option. These United fixtures here from 11, 12 and 13 are great. So maybe, again, could be a period here where you do pick up a Dalot, a Garnacho as a cheap option, or, of course, a Bruno Fernandes as well. Could all be really, really good options as well. So yeah, Bruno might not be a bad option, to be honest. Might not be a bad option. Right, let's keep this show ticking along. Obviously, we spoke through this a little bit earlier. We spoke about Haaland and stuff like that. In terms of predicted points for this game week, Mohamed Salah is top with 8.1. And this was one of the factors that obviously led into me making him my captaincy choice for this game week as well. Haaland not too far behind him, though, with 7.7. Then there is a little bit of a drop-off with Palmer, Saka, and then Raul all the way up there. So maybe Raul Jimenez is one of those players potentially we are undervaluing this game week as well. Cunha up there as well, so it could be a really, really decent pickup for those potentially looking to go for him as well. And then, of course, we do have some other names on here as well. Darwin Núñez has been mentioned. I know Visser as well. Some people are potentially looking at him. But again, this probably would be one of the signs for why you should go for Cunha over Visser. Better projected points for this week. And then, of course, he plays Southampton next week as well. Potentially on penalties as well, which is always a lovely little tool. I just absolutely adore to go and exploit, to be honest. Watkins a sell after Spurs. I mean, the fixtures are actually pretty decent from 12 onwards. So maybe if you can find a way to get around it, yeah. Solanke should play at CDM at this point. Yeah, he's not been great, has he? Argue the case of Haaland being a season keeper. I mean, it's Erling Haaland. He's probably going to win the Golden Boot. The betting market, have him being the projected highest point scorer in the game. They also have him as the projected best goal scorer in the Premier League this season. There's one reason to keep him. But, you know, some players, sometimes you do have to take them out, of course. Stressing before the last price changes. No worries, man. If you do have any questions, let me know. We'll try and help you out. Obviously, the coin is here as well. Bruno or Alejandro? I think Alejandro could be decent. Like, he could be a decent little punt. Like, I feel he has a lot more explosive potential than Bruno. Rashford, not for me. -4 for missing an open goal. Will Cavadio and Wood be fine? We've not had any updates. It looks like Wood might be a little bit of a doubt, but Cavadio looks pretty decent. FPL Have a Beer. How's it going, man? If you guys haven't checked it out, I'm sure one of the channel moderators will put it in the stream at some point. But I had a lovely chat yesterday with FPL Have a Beer. We spoke about mental health, FPL, content creation, all that good stuff. So make sure you are going and checking out that interview as well. It was really, really good. And yeah, it's just all round good stuff. Golden Goal also did one as well. So again, there's 2 bits of great content on that channel already. So go and check it out. Why not captain Wood? Wood is not getting the captaincy, is he? Definitely not. Definitely not. In terms of that captaincy poll as well, 54% have now gone for Salah. So pretty decent. Pretty decent. 33% for Haaland as well. So it does look like there's probably going to be a little bit of a decent split this week. So yeah, it's gonna be very, very tight. Obviously, if you're in quite a fortunate position like myself, where I have both of them, not too much to worry about. Obviously, if you're maybe thinking about taking Haaland out, it could be a little bit of a catastrophic one. He's still going to probably be around 70%-ish owned. His effective ownership is still going to be ridiculously high. So maybe one to potentially consider this week if he obviously does pop off. But if you do feel like Salah has that potential to go and explode a little bit more, I mean, the projected points are definitely suggesting that as well. Maybe this could be the one. Right, the final slide I've got for you guys before we talk about my team and the plans going forward with it and answering your guys' questions is, of course, the anytime percentage chance of scoring as well. And as we can see here, 87% chance of an anytime return for Erling Haaland is scary, especially if you are obviously, of course, thinking about potentially selling him off. But his numbers most game weeks do look very similar to this, unless, of course, he is playing an Arsenal, a Liverpool, a Chelsea. Most weeks his numbers look like this. Salah's as well look pretty decent across the board as well. Cole Palmer's, I feel Cole Palmer has the potential to go and pick up another 10-pointer this week. He looks so, so good at the moment. He breezes through the game, full of confidence, and I absolutely love owning him as well. Son with a decent chance as well, so if you have kept him, probably worth, keeping around as well for next week. And then Saka's all the way down at 50%, but Newcastle have been a little bit shaky. Potentially Anthony Gordon and Isak out of that game. They could be a little bit of a limp side, to be honest, overall, so might not be the best idea. Thank you very much for putting that in the chat, Jamie. Like I said, guys, go and check that interview out after we have finished up here today. Would you go Cunha or Raul? I think I prefer Cunha for me. I think I genuinely would prefer Cunha, but both are absolutely stellar options. I think with next week's fixture, though, Cunha could be a great player to pick up. I think as well he might get another price rise, potentially tonight, or if not, if he has a really good game tomorrow, could also get one or two going into next week as well. Whereas Raul, the kind of, I would say the hype isn't round him. Like, he's a good player, don't get me wrong, but there's not like the community hype pushing that price. Whereas Cunha's got it, and you might get like an extra 0.2, 0.3 out of him as well. I never thought Manchester City would suffer from a lack of fit players. Yeah, they're usually pretty good, aren't they? Is Reece James going under the radar? Right, I need to see Reece James play at least 10 games before I even consider going near him. The guy's hamstrings are literally just made of cheese. They really, really are made of cheese. So, yeah, I think it's going to take a while for me to potentially consider Reece James as well. Yeah, nothing on Guardiola. Basically, Pep Guardiola was not basically about as much use as Reece James's hamstrings, to be honest. And then McNeil, again, it looks like he's not in some of the predicted lineups I've seen, so could be a little bit of a doubt for that one as well. Not for me. Strand Larsen's expected goal involvement is 0.26, and I just don't feel like yeah, I feel like Cunha's the better option. And Wolves aren't like this prolific, like all-out attack team compared to like Brentford, where I expect Brentford to score in every single game because they're so good going forward. Wolves haven't shown that to me, and the projected goals aren't like flying through the roof for them as well on the 11-5 model. So not worth it for me. Met James at Harrods yesterday. James who? James May? Who did you meet? Just James. Who's James? I want to know who this James is now. I'm curious. I really, really want to know who James is. Right, let's have a look at my team and going forward the plan. So obviously this is this week, but yeah, this is the plan. So next week, obviously we'll have 2 transfers. Calvert-Lewin's going unless he pulls off the magical and gets a hat-trick. Cunha will be in, but we need 0.4 to free up. So, of course, Sharda then will be coming out, and we will probably just pick up a 4.5 million mid. It gives us 0.3 going forward as well. So that's the way we're going to do with that one. That's how we'd line up then for game week 12. Obviously, we'd drop 8 Nuri in there. We'd play with that back line. Like I said, I'm going to stick with that. Rodgers isn't that bad a player. Again, they're all playing against each other. So I do still think Haaland might be my captain this week. Brighton away. Brighton have been pretty wobbly at the back as well. So that's fine. Then, of course, we've got game week 12 post-international break. Again, we're taking only 1 transfer in, which isn't ideal. It's not ideal, but we're going to stick with it. We're going to stick with it for game week 12. Then roll on game week 13, and Haaland's got Liverpool, and this might be the hop-off point for me, is this game here, right? Because I think Spurs defensively have looked pretty ropey, to be honest, and we probably would do this, right? We'd pick up Nicholas Jackson, and we probably would upgrade either Rodgers, or we could upgrade Winks, to be fair. We could get rid of Winks here, but we've just brought him in to get Cunha in, so I don't know which way to go with that one. Upgrade Rodgers, and then that probably would go to Saka. So that's how the team would eventually look for game week 13, game week 12, obviously, if we don't delve into Cunha as well. So it would look pretty decent going forward, that as well. And then as you can see, as we keep flipping forward here, next week Jackson plays Southampton. Again, we just drop Aina and put Konza in there, so we'd be fine there. Here we probably would have to drop Southampton in. Again, Greaves might be back at this point. These game will probably be around November time anyway, so Greaves will be back so he can slot into that back line. Again, the team looking ridiculously strong, and that is the plan, just to keep going forward and stuff like that. But obviously plans do change, and we'll have to wait and see. Oh, Reece James. Oh, my days. What a donut I am. What a donut. Attempted to lock double Manchester City and Arsenal defence as a set and forget. Lewis, Gvardiol, Gabriel and Raya with 8 Nuri and Van der Berg as the backups. Not bad options. Not bad options. Like they will start picking up some clean sheets across the way, but yeah, it is what it is. I'm just making one change next game week, which is Cunha for Watkins, and that leaves me with 2.5 million in the bank. Very, very nice. Yeah, make sure if you are enjoying today's stream, guys, you are hitting that like button as well. It does push it out to more people. Apologies if you can hear like fireworks as well. Obviously, if you're not from the UK, it is around bonfire night, so people are, of course, now having firework displays and letting them off at whenever they want to do, of course. Yeah, mate, honestly, my like short-term memory is terrible sometimes. It really, really is. Play Robinson or Konza? I play Robinson this week. It seems like it's easily pick a Manchester City player now than when it's City's 11. Yep. Is Watkins on penalties? We don't know, but potentially not. Should we buy Mateus Nunes while City have so many injuries? He's probably only going to be a 2-week punt. It is Diwali as well, or yesterday was Diwali. I can't remember which way around it is. Yep, fireworks in the UK, mate. Alternative defense would be Trent, Lewis. I personally think going forward, right, I don't think people are going to have as much money in the back lines. We've seen it this season. The trend, again, is continuing. Less and less and less clean sheets. Genuinely, less and less and less and less clean sheets. So I think maybe big at the back might be potentially dead. Yeah, no, it's not even Douglas Luiz. They've got Tielemans who could take them. I think Ross Barkley took some at some point, maybe back in his days at Everton. And there was another guy who's well. John McGinn. John McGinn takes them as well. They've got a few decent penalty takers. What do I think of Lewis Hall? I'm not touching Newcastle assets for a bit. Their fixtures aren't there. Who to bench out of Johnson, Maddison, Gabriel? I have Raya as well. I mean, it's not an easy fixture, is it? So maybe I'd be tempted to bench one of Brennan Johnson or Maddison. I probably would be tempted to go that way. Do keep your questions coming in, guys. Like I said, I will be live tomorrow for the deadline stream. We'll be live from 7:45, so you can ask me all the questions there. Of course, we'll be doing team reviews as well, as we always do on those streams. EFL Fantasy as well does kick off tonight, so obviously if you are a player of that one, make sure you're getting your teams locked and loaded for that one. But yeah, any questions you do have, guys, get them in. We'll answer them before I obviously finish up today's stream. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how the team's looking, to be honest. Thoughts on Game Week 12 wildcard? Yep, it's a good time to do it. Obviously, there's big fixture swings, so yeah, I'm a fan of it. Should I sell Ped Porro or wait till the Ipswich game? Good question. I would potentially wait till after the Ipswich game. And then then around 12, there's Arsenal's fixtures tick back up, so you could obviously go for him then. How's the team? Pickford, Gvardiol, Lewis, Young, Johnson and Buemo Salah. It's not bad. McNeil and Wood are probably your big doubts for the weekend. Same with Gvardiol. There might be a few problems, but I think you'll be fine. FPL Tim? Who the hell's FPL Tim, Andy? Come on, mate. Come on. I've been looking at the scrapyard for some value if you need cheap defenders. Well, it's alright because the FPL Tim channel, they're cooking. The FPL Tim channel are they're firing away, aren't they, really? They're cooking. They're cooking on all cylinders. They really, really are. Oh, dear, dear, dear. FPL Tim, that's a honker from you, mate. That is a real stinker. Genuinely. I expected so much better. Nah, I'm just messing with you, man. I'm just messing with you. FPL Tim or FPL Coin are probably going to be the new channel names, aren't they, in the end? Do keep your questions coming in, guys. Any that you do have. Tim, no, don't make it a thing. Don't make it a thing where everyone calls me Tim now. Tim, do I start Bowen or Traore? Who've West Ham got this week? Who have West Ham got this week? Who have they got? Forest. Ooh. I'd be going Bowen. No worries, mate. No worries, mate. It's led to a funny exchange here. Everyone's calling me Tim now. Thoughts on the wildcard 12 of Bergen, Saliba, Davis? I won't have Leave Davis. Ipswich are terrible at defending. James again, injury. Ruter could be decent, but could be a bit of a rotation risk. And I think the thing you need to remember is, right, basically, right, the Christmas period that's about to come up, there are going to be so many games in such short succession that just picking players that play 90 minutes is going to become so valuable over this period. Not even like punts or good players that are looking decent but see 60 to 70 minutes. It's going to be the players that play 90 minutes consistently every single week over this period, because every year it happens, players just get dropped left, right and centre out of these teams. And I think what I'm building with my team here is a lot more of these 90-minute men. And going forward as well, more players that will probably see out most games, right? That's probably the way to go with it. Rodgers or McNeil to start? I go Rodgers. Manchester United playing like prime Barca after they've sacked Ten Hag. Yeah, no surprises there. Pedro should just chill. Welbeck being a demon since he's left. Yep. Tim, which Manchester United should I get? Probably would be Dalot, Bruno, Garnacho. There you go. Do you think Virgil van Dijk can keep pace with Trent long term? Probably not. Like, Trent will pick up some attacking returns, but you've seen it with Trent's numbers. They have dropped off, and Liverpool are just looking to be a little bit more defensive as well. We need to hit the like button for Tim. Yeah, smash that like button for Tim as well. Big guy, big fan of Tim. You've made a good point, Timmy. Didn't realise that, so might reconsider Watkins. No worries, my friend. No worries, my friend. Keep your questions coming in, guys. Any that you do have ahead of the end of today's stream. I know it said deadline. That's tomorrow's stream. Like I said, I will be live for that one from 7:45 as well. What to do with Van de Ven? Looks like he could be out for a few weeks, missing the good fixtures, so probably find an alternative replacement. If you can get Aït-Nouri, go and get Aït-Nouri. Yeah, I believe it expires after the game week 19 deadline and resets for 20, I believe. Someone correct me if I'm wrong on that one. I'm worried about Rodgers' minutes. Yeah. Emery's comments as well about him being fatigued weren't great. But again, who we putting in this price bracket? There is no one like I'm overwhelmed by or like, you know, really infused by either. So I don't think it's the be all and end all. Yeah, I'm not going near Isak. I want to look at the Newcastle fixtures actually. Let's get them up on screen because we've had a few questions about Newcastle players, haven't we? I need to find a Newcastle player. Isak. Let's have a look. I mean, that's not a bad run, is it? Forest, West Ham, Palace isn't bad. Then that Liverpool one. Probably, you know what? This period here, game week 15 is probably where we want to maybe look back at Newcastle. Yeah, definitely so. Brentford, Leicester, Ipswich, Villa, United. Interestingly as well, around here is, well, game week 15, for example, is, of course, where Mbeumo falls off. So you could have Mbeumo for that one. Then make the switch to Anthony Gordon for that. Maybe something could be on here. Again, then there's this next period here. So for me, it probably would be next week where you take a little bit of a punt and obviously have to bench him for the more difficult games against Liverpool. Or it's maybe around 15, 16 where you start to look to bring in Newcastle players again. But for now, probably not going to be a team I will be looking at. Not going to be a team I'm going to be looking at. For me personally, anyway. Yeah, I think the thing with Aït-Nouri, right, is the yellow card thing is a bummer. But I'm probably going to hold him for the next 10 game weeks. I think he will miss one, and we know he'll pick up a yellow card. He will miss one, which isn't great. And we will have to play other players. But at the end of the day, I'm still getting 9 good game weeks out of a player who is absolutely broken. Sell Gabriel? No, it looks like he's going to be fine, so I won't worry about that one. Yeah, Dalot's also a great shout. Genuinely a great shout. Yeah. I mean, Luton are really struggling this season as well. Semenyo looks good. Again, though, he also fits into the bracket of Aït-Nouri where he's on 4 yellow cards, so be careful. I am on TikTok. I don't post on there anymore. I just don't have time. This channel and the second channel pretty much take up all my time now. And Mbeumo to Bowen, game week 14 looks good. Yes, it does. I pointed this out to someone at work the other day. I was like, that is probably going to be the move I'll make. That's the one that looks really, really juicy, to be honest. That's the one that looks really, really juicy. Keep your questions coming in, guys. Any that you do have ahead of the deadline. Limitless UCL fantasy draft next week. Yeah, there will be some UCL content coming out over the weekend as well. There will be my team selection. Maybe wildcarding, I haven't quite decided. Of course, there'll be a deadline stream as well. Then there'll probably be a little bit of a lack of content from Wednesday onwards, really. We'll get the team selection video out on Wednesday morning. After that, though, I'm heading to Latvia. Again, that's going to be a video for the second channel. So we're heading out to Latvia on Wednesday. Then I'm back for the weekend for the deadline stream. So no preview stream next week. No stream with Jake again. I know you guys like that one, but no stream with Jake again next week. There'll be a UCL one. Video out Wednesday. Then I'm in Latvia filming for the second channel, which will probably drop over the weekend or Monday morning. Then, of course, we'll be back for the deadline stream next week ahead of the international break and all that good stuff in Game Week 11. So lots coming your way over the next few weeks on both channels as well. So make sure you are hitting that subscribe button, of course, if you are new around here as well. I think we're going to leave it there, guys, all right? We're going to leave it there. We've had a little decent stretch. We've spoke about some good stuff. We've got through all the good stuff. But I think the firework display in like the town I live in has just started, and they're getting a little bit noisy and a little bit loud and doing my head in. So I'm going to go chill out. Like I said, I'll be back tomorrow morning from 7:45. We'll be live 7:45. So make sure, of course, you are hitting that subscribe button with bell notifications on, and of course hitting that like button as well. But I will be back tomorrow. Don't you worry about that one, guys, to answer all your questions and of course review any teams. But thank you very much for watching today, ladies and gentlemen, and good luck in Game Week 10.